You know, we practice all through the year, but especially emphasize in the month of January, the power of faith, power of belief. That our faith is that power which can lead us to all kinds of places we would never have imagined earlier in our lives. Sometimes we think that certain things are impossible. I was listening this morning to a song, one of my favorite songs by Bruce Hornsby, and it's entitled The Way It Is. And in this song, Bruce Hornsby talks about people who are being told of certain things that they'll never be able to do, or places they can never go because of their color or because of their age or because of whatever. And what he says in the song is, don't you believe them? Inside, each of us knows that the presence of God is living itself as us. Paul in Acts chapter 17 says that in God we live, move, and have our being. So there's no limitation in God. There's no limitation in this infinite presence that is created and outpictured all that we see. There's no limitation whatsoever. And if we are in fact the outpicturing of that, and what else could we be, then how could there be any limitation for what it is that you truly dream and are called to do? How could there be any limitation other than the limitation that we place upon ourselves? Last Sunday, we had the burning bowl ceremony. It wasn't a burning bowl ceremony last Sunday. It was, some people called it the drowning bowl. Some people called it the releasing bowl. But we used water, and we had paper that would dissolve, and we had a drive-through. A lot of people came, and thank you for showing up. It gave me the opportunity to connect with a lot of people I haven't seen for the last 9 months. And people wrote down on this paper what it is they wish to release, what is getting in their way of fully expressing the divine. They would place that in the water, and wow, it would dissolve. That is an opening phase of really stepping into what are we here to do. We have an Absolute Abundance class that is starting a week from this Tuesday on January 19th. Gabe will tell us a little bit more about that soon. But this class, which has 10 sessions in it, entitled Metamorphosis, will help transform you into a person of intentionality, a person who uses the power of your faith to create the life of your dreams. Are you willing to do that? Let me ask you a few questions. Do you have all the money that you need? Do you have the dream job that you want? Do you have the tasks or the creativity or the adventure in your life that you dream of? Do you have the relationships that you desire? Do you have whatever it is that Spirit is bringing up for you and placing that vision in front of you? That is exactly what this Absolute Abundance class is all about. It's helping us to move deeply into these spiritual principles, support each other in each of our individual work so that we can create our lives. Now, I have some quotes. Now, first, I'll give you a quote from Matthew chapter 9, verse 29. And this is Jesus speaking. Jesus was touching the eyes of some of those who were blind. And Jesus said, "Be it done unto you according to your faith," or "Be it done unto you according to your belief." Jesus emphasized over and over and over, if you study the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and the Christian scriptures, what you will find is that Jesus doesn't claim that he is the one who is doing all of this healing. Over and over and over, what Jesus says to these people who are healed is, your faith has healed you. Your belief has healed you. If you say to this mountain, be cast into the sea, and believe, he said, it will be done. He said, whatever things you believe and truly believe, it shall be done. That's the teaching of Jesus. We didn't dream that up. Now, that's something that we talk about a lot in Unity, but we didn't dream this up. This is going way, way back. It goes back even before Jesus. But Jesus taught these principles very strongly. So when I talk about, the places you'll go, it's up to you. Where do you want to go? Have you ever gotten in a taxi and they want to know, where do you want to go? Now, sometimes, I suppose you could say, well, just take me somewhere. And that's how a lot of people live their lives. Let's just see where we land. Or do you have a specific place that you want to go? Now, I've shared with you from the Gospel of Matthew. Now I want to share with you from the Gospel of Dr. Seuss. This comes from the last book that was published while Dr. Seuss was still living. In January of 1990. So, what's that been? 31 years ago. He published the book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. Some people get that like a graduation or special big events in their life. And I read it recently over Christmas vacation. I thought, wow, this is so appropriate. It's just chock full of the same principles we teach. Let me share some of the quotes with you. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own. You know what you know. And you are the one who will decide where to go. Out there, things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98 3/4% guaranteed. What Dr. Seuss in this book points out is that when we're pursuing our dreams, there can be downfalls too. There can be challenging times. There can be times where we are tempted to believe that we are lost, or that we don't know what we're doing, or, oh, this is so hard. There's times in our lives where we struggle with, wow, what is going to happen? Certainly this last week, this last Wednesday, a lot of us were watching TV and wondering, what's going to happen in our country? And yet, we do not lose our faith. We do not lose our faith in all that we are experiencing or the things that we are going through, because that faith is the actual presence of God living itself as us. That presence can never be diminished, divided. It can never be in any way defeated. That presence is, I believe, that presence that Dr. Seuss is talking about when he says you have brains in your head and feet in your shoes. You are the one that you've been waiting for. You are the one to do those things that you've been dreaming of. You are the one to do amazing things. What are you waiting for? Now, some of us have excuses. And I've heard great excuses from people. I've had some great ones myself. Sometimes I'll catch myself giving an excuse, and I've become aware and awake enough that I realize I'm giving an excuse, but I'm thinking, well, it's a really good one, and maybe this person will let me go get by with it. my wife who is here today, fortunately will not do that. She does not enable my excuses. It's good to have someone like that who can call you on your stuff. Excuses are a stall tactic of the false ego. The false ego wants to kind of keep us in the status quo, thinking it's going to protect us, thinking it's going to keep us safe, but actually it's keeping us imprisoned. And so the false ego will come up with these excuses, these stories about why we can't do this and why we can't do that, and so forth. But the presence of God living itself as you, expressing and expanding and expressing in this world as you, can never be limited. It can't be held back. So, as we're going through this month of January and through this new year of 2021, what are the places to which you will go? What are the places that you will express? It could be writing. We have someone here who teaches our writing class, Sue Summer. It may be music that you will get into. It may be dance. We have a teacher here of jazzercise, Debbie Sweeney. It could be expressing yourself in terms of acting. It could be expressing yourself in running for politics. Maybe you're tired of the way politics are going. Maybe it's time for you to run for office. Have you thought about it? What is it that Spirit is calling you to do? I invite you to lovingly drop the excuses. My mom loves art. And while I was a kid, I was raised listening to classical music and seeing art and going to the art museum. My mom just loves art. And so after us kids were grown, my mom decided to start taking art classes. Okay, this is later in life, but this is something she wanted to do, and she became a very, very accomplished oil painter. It's never too late. Whatever it is that is coming up for you from Spirit, this is your time to do it. Why wait? What are we waiting for? This is our time. This is our time also as a spiritual community. We're not just on pause here. We're not just in a holding pattern. We are growing. We are growing in terms of the number of people who are watching and participating online. We are growing in terms of the in-depth work we are doing in classes. We are growing in terms of people continuing to be involved in this spiritual community. We will not be held back because unity in Marin is a divine idea from the mind of God. Therefore, it cannot be defeated. And I'm so grateful for all the ways in which you help support Unity in Marin. We're going to be hearing in a little bit about Faith in Action and getting an update on that. Faith in Action is a way that we put that power of faith into action to support this spiritual community that helps to support each one of us. I love you all. I bless you, and I'm grateful for you. And I know with each and every one of you, a very happy new year. Next Sunday, we'll be looking at Martin Luther King Jr. as a template for how we can really express the power of God as change in our world. Please join us next Sunday. And I would invite you to join me in these affirmations at this time. Where I am, the presence of God is. The presence of God can never be defeated. I live my dreams. I let go of excuses. I go forward with a mighty zeal to do that which needs to be done by me. And so it is. Amen.